Hello everyone, today we're going to be starting the reading of Maryellen Larkin's first book by Valerie Tripp. It is called The One and Only, so I'm really excited to be reading chapter 1 with you guys today, and make sure to stay tuned for all of the rest of the chapters. And when the book is done, I will be posting a video of all the chapters, so if you guys just want to sort of binge watch or binge listen as a whole, you can do that once the book is over. So let's start with Chapter 1. Chapter 1. The Room Switcheroo. Maryellen Larkin liked to make up episodes of her favorite TV shows and imagined herself in them. This morning, for example, as Maryellen was walking down the hot, sunny sidewalk with her dog, Scooter, to mail a letter to her grandparents, she was pretending that she was in an episode of the exciting Western, The Lone Ranger. Her only companion was her trusty horse, Thunderbolt. That was Scooter's part. Maryellen leaned forward as if she were battling her way through a blinding blizzard. If she didn't deliver the medicine in her hand, hundreds of people would die. Maryellen never gave herself superpowers in any of her imagined shows. She didn't fly or do magic or become invisible or anything. She looked the way she really looked, except maybe a little taller and with better clothes. The main difference was that in her TV shows, everyone paid attention to her. They listened to her great ideas, they followed her advice, and ta-da! Everything turned out just right. Maryellen ceremoniously put her letter in the mailbox, imagining that she was handing medicine to a kindly old doctor in the snowy town in the Old West. "Thank you, Miss Larkin, ma'am," the imaginary doctor said. "We desperately needed this. You have saved hundreds of lives today." Maryellen smiled modestly and shrugged, as if to say, it was nothing. Then she turned to go. "Come on, Thunderbolt," she said to Scooter. "Our work here is done." Scooter, a stout and elderly Dachshund, had just flopped down and made himself comfortable in the shade of the mailbox. But Maryellen whispered, "Come on, Scooter, get up, old boy." So Scooter rose with a good-natured sigh and waddled behind Maryellen, who pretended to trudge through the drifts of snow as grateful townspeople called after her, "Thank you, Miss Larkin. You're our hero." "Hey, Ellie," said a real voice, calling her by her nickname. The voice belonged to her friend Davy Fenstermatcher, who lived next door in a house that looked exactly like the Larkins' house. Maryellen and Davy had been friends forever. "Howdy, partner," Maryellen drawled. "I'll race you to the swing," said Davy. "On your mark, get set, go!" Maryellen and Davy ran to the Larkins' backyard, with Scooter lobbing along behind them. Maryellen got to the swing first, jumped on, and began to pump. "I win," she called down to Davy. "You be the Lone Ranger stuck in quicksand, and I'll jump down and rescue you." "Okay," said Davy agreeably. Of course, they both knew that cowboys didn't usually jump off swings, but the swing that Mr. Larkin had hung in the backyard was so much fun that they used it in lots of TV shows they made up. Maryellen swung high and then jumped off. "Woohoo!" she hollered, swooping through the August air. She landed on the grass with a soft thud. "Come on, Thunderbolt," she called to Scooter. "We've got to save the Lone Ranger." Scooter, asleep in the shade, snored. "Better wake him up first, Ellie," said Davy. But before Maryellen could rouse Scooter, her 6-year-old sister, Beverly, came clomping out of the house in an old pair of Mrs. Larkin's high heels. Beverly wore one of Dad's baseball caps turned inside out so that it looked like a crown. She also wore 3 pop bead necklaces and 2 pop bead bracelets, one on each arm. Right behind Beverly came Tom and Mikey, Maryellen's younger brothers. They were 4 and not quite 2 years old. "What are you doing?" Beverly asked. "Nothing," said Maryellen, wishing that Beverly and the boys would go back inside, but knowing that they wouldn't. Maryellen, Beverly, Tom, and Mikey shared a bedroom, and even though the little kids were cute and sweet and goofy, they drove Maryellen crazy, especially the boys. One time, while she was at school, the boys got into her I Love Lucy paper dolls, and she found Lucy's clothes scattered all over the floor like confetti, and Lucy folded up in one of Tom's toy trucks. Lucy had never been able to hold her head up again. Now that it was summer, Beverly, Tom, and Mikey stuck to her like glue 24 hours a day. They couldn't bear to be left out of anything fun that she might be doing. "Sure enough," Beverly said, "I want to play with you and Davy." "Me too," said Tom. "Me," said Mikey. Davy shot Maryellen a sympathetic look. He had years of experience dealing with Beverly and Tom and Mikey. Thinking quickly, Maryellen suggested to Davy, "What if the little kids are in the quicksand too, and I rescue all of you?" "Good idea," said Davy. "Pretend I'm a queen that you are rescuing," said Beverly. "Oh, brother," Maryellen muttered. That was another problem with Beverly. She liked to pretend, but she always pretended the same thing, that she was a queen. Dad called her Queen Beverly. "I don't think they had queens in the Wild West," Maryellen said. "I've never seen one in a TV show anyway. Have you, Davy?" "Nope," said Davy firmly. Maryellen smiled. Good old Davy always backed her up. She said to Beverly, clinching the point, "And Davy and I have watched almost every TV show there ever was." Queen Beverly looked stubborn. Maryellen was just about to give in to her majesty when their mother called out the back door. "Ellie, honey, come in for a minute. I need you." "Okay," called Maryellen, feeling pleased Mom needed her. Maryellen's pride wilted just a bit when Mom added, "Beverly, Tom, and Mikey, you come too." She wished Mom wouldn't always lump her together with Beverly, Tom, and Mikey, as if they were one big bumpy creature with 4 heads, 8 arms, and 8 legs. Mom certainly treated Maryellen's older sisters, Joanne and Carolyn, as separate, serious people. "I'm tired of being one of the little kids," grumbled Maryellen to herself for the millionth time. "I guess I'm stuck with Beverly, but I'm much too grown up to share a room with Tom and Mikey. Somehow I have to convince Mom that I should share a bedroom with Joanne and Carolyn, so that she'll think of me as one of the big girls and take me and my ideas more seriously." "Come on, kids," said Mom. She scooped Mikey up onto her hip and held out her free hand to Tom. Beverly clumped along as quickly as she could in her high heels. Scooter rose stiffly and followed her. "What do you need us for, Mom?" asked Maryellen. "Just a quick family meeting," said Mom. "Oh," said Maryellen without enthusiasm. She knew from experience that it was hard to get a word in edgewise during family meetings. They were not at all like one of her pretend TV shows where she was the hero and everyone hung on to her every word. Maryellen sighed and said to Davy, "See you later, alligator." "In a while, crocodile," said Davy. "I'll wait here." Maryellen walked into the kitchen and slid onto the bench in the breakfast nook next to Joanne, her eldest sister. Joanne, who was 17 and therefore nearly all grown up, looked sideways at Maryellen's grass-stained shorts and inched away, closer to Carolyn. It was crowded on the bench, but Maryellen wanted Mom to see her next to Joanne and Carolyn, on their side of the table, so that Mom would think of the three of them as a group. Maryellen could tell that this family meeting would be like all the others. Frustrating. The kitchen was already noisy. Dad had left on a 3-day business trip earlier that morning. But Mom and Carolyn, Maryellen's next oldest sister, were talking a mile a minute. Tom was wailing a siren as he rode his toy fire truck around the kitchen. Mikey was yodeling and banging a spoon on the tray connected to his high chair. Mrs. Larkin took Mikey's spoon away from him and gave him a piece of toast, which was quieter to bang, and then said, "Kids." Everyone quieted down. "I have an important announcement," said Mrs. Larkin. "My best friend Betty and Florence are coming to spend the night." "Who are Fleety and Borant?" asked Beverly. "Betty and Florence," said Mrs. Larkin. "You kids have never met them. We work together at the factory. They live in New York City now. We're going to a reunion luncheon at the factory tomorrow." Maryellen knew that Mom was referring to the aircraft factory where she had worked during World War II. "I'm glad Betty and Florence are coming," said Maryellen. Her mind sped ahead. Lots of TV quiz shows were filmed in New York City. Maybe Mom's friends could get her a spot on one of them. She'd be the youngest contestant ever. Joanne interrupted Maryellen's daydream with a practical question. "Where will Betty and Florence sleep?" she asked Mom. Maryellen's mind sped ahead again. This could be the moment she had been waiting for all summer. "I have an idea," she announced, but Mom didn't hear Maryellen. No one did. Mom was saying, "I guess they'll have to sleep on the sofa bed in the living room, though that doesn't seem very welcoming." "I've got an idea," Maryellen said again. She popped up from her place at the table and went over and tugged on her mother's sleeve. "Listen!" But Mrs. Larkin just patted Maryellen's head and gave her a wink and a smile, while everyone kept talking as much and as loudly as ever. Maryellen grabbed Mikey's spoon and pounded it on the table the way she'd seen judges pound gavels in TV courtroom drama shows. "Hey!" she shouted as loud as she could. "Order in the court!" Mom winced and held her hand over her ears. "Ellie, sweetie pie, settle down," she scolded gently. "Please don't shout and bang the table like Mikey. It's childish." "Sorry, Mom," said Maryellen, red in the face. The last thing she wanted was for Mom to think that she was childish. "But listen, I have a great idea." "Tell us," said Mom. "You have our attention." "Please don't suggest that Mom's friend should sleep in a hammock swinging from trees," Joanne teased. "Not everyone enjoys pretending to be Tarzan, king of the apes, like you and Davy were just now." "We weren't being Tarzan," Maryellen said, "and I wasn't going to suggest hammocks, though I bet they'd be fun to sleep in. But actually, I think Mom's guests should sleep in your room." "My room?" said Joanne. "That's impossible. Carolyn and I hardly fit in there together as it is." "We're squished," Carolyn agreed. Carolyn was 14 and easygoing. She and Joanne shared a set of bunk beds in a tiny bedroom. "I have it all figured out," said Maryellen. "Joanne, you and Carolyn will give your room to Betty and Florence. You'll sleep in the big bedroom with Beverly and me, in Tom and Mikey's bunk beds, and the boys will sleep in Mom and Dad's room." Maryellen smiled at Tom. "You like sleeping on the floor, don't you?" "Yes," said Tom. He looked happy. But then Tom just about always looked happy, with spiky yellow hair sticking straight out all over his head. He looked like a cheerful dandelion. Joanne frowned. She started to say, "I don't," but Mom interrupted. "Why, Maryellen Larkin, I do believe you've hit upon a solution to our problem." Maryellen beamed, although she wished that Mom hadn't sounded quite so surprised that she had had a good idea. Flushed with her success, she rattled on eagerly. "After Betty and Florence leave," she said, "Tom and Mikey can move into the little room, and the big room will be the all-girls room." Maryellen was sure that sharing a room with Joanne and Carolyn would change everything for her, and change the way everyone thought of her and treated her too. They'd see that she was mature. After all, she was nearly 10. She was going to be in 4th grade. Everyone started to talk at once again. "We can decorate the all-girls room with pictures of TV stars," said Maryellen. "What?" said Joanne. "TV stars," said Carolyn. "Goodbye," said Beverly. But, Joanne sputtered, "that means 4 of us will share one closet and—" "Whoa," said Mrs. Larkin, holding up both hands. "Hold it, everyone." She turned to Maryellen and said, "Ellie, dear, you're getting carried away as usual. We'll give Betty and Florence the little room tonight, but let's do one thing at a time, okay?" "Sure, Mom," said Maryellen. "All right, then," said Mrs. Larkin. "Meeting adjourned." Mom lifted Mikey out of his high chair, and he toddled behind Beverly and Tom to go watch cartoons on TV. But as Maryellen, Carolyn, and Mom started to leave, Joanne stopped them. "Just for the record," said Joanne, "I'm not crazy about this whole room switcheroo." "Why not?" asked Maryellen. "Scooter, for starters," said Joanne. "I don't want to share a room with him. You let him sleep on your bed, for heaven's sake. And he has bad breath, and he drools, and he sheds, and he snores." Maryellen wished Dad were home. He always defended Scooter. Everyone glanced over at Scooter now. Scooter managed to snore, drool, scratch himself, and send a flurry of hair into the air all at the same time. Maryellen sighed. She had to admit that Joanne had a point. "Maybe Scooter can sleep in the living room," Carolyn suggested gently. Maryellen felt disloyal to Scooter, but she said, "I guess so." "Scooter's not the only problem," said Joanne. "Now what?" said Maryellen, rolling her eyes. "You," said Joanne. "You're sloppy." Maryellen could see that her sweaty hair and grimy hands were a sharp contrast to Joanne's crisp, clean appearance. "Well, maybe I'm a little messy right now," she said honestly. She smoothed her rumpled t-shirt, which was a faded and stained hand-me-down from Carolyn. "I was playing outdoors." "I know," said Joanne. "You were goofing around with Davy like a wild tomboy as usual. That'll have to stop soon anyway, because you can't be friends with a boy in 4th grade. Maryellen frowned. "Why not?" "It just doesn't work. You wait and see," Joanne went on. "But it's not only your appearance that's grubby. Your bed, your drawers, your closet, all your things are messy. Last night, you flooded the bathtub, and before that, you stepped in the popcorn bowl and overturned it. Face it, Ellie, you create a disaster area wherever you go." "Hey," said Carolyn, sticking up for Maryellen. "Just because Ellie's not persnickety like you doesn't mean she's a hopeless mess." "Right," said Maryellen indignantly. "And I don't create disasters, do I, Mom?" "Well," said Mrs. Larkin, "I think what Joanne means is that you're not very tidy or organized, honey." "See," said Joanne, "I don't think it's fair that I should have to share a room with such a messy little kid." "A messy little kid," Maryellen repeated, horrified. Granted, she was not a finicky fuss budget like Joanne, but a messy little kid? One who was childish, wild, untidy, tomboyish, disorganized, and grubby. A messy little kid who created disasters wherever she went. Was that how Joanne, and Maryellen gulped, Mom thought of her? Let's say this, said Miss Larkin. We'll give the all-girls room a try tonight. Sharing a room with your big sisters will be a test for you, Ellie. If you show that you can be tidy and responsible, we'll consider making the all-girls room permanent. Do we have a deal, ladies? I suppose so, said Joanne with a shrug. It's fine with me, said Carolyn. Yes, said Maryellen. She understood that if she failed this test, she'd lose her chance for the all-girls room. But there was something even more important that was at stake. If she failed the test, she'd lose her chance to improve Mom's opinion of her. That's settled then, said Mom. Joanne and Carolyn, come with me and I'll give you fresh bed sheets. And you'd better move your pajamas and whatever else you'll need for tonight into Ellie's room. Ellie, if I were you, I'd start a cleanup campaign right away. I will, Mom, said Maryellen. While the others headed to the linen closet, Maryellen dashed outside to speak to Davy. Looks like I'll be inside for a while, she said. I've got to clean up my room. How come? Asked Davy. He was sitting on the swing, spinning to make himself dizzy. Maryellen explained about the room switcheroo. Joanne didn't want to do it, she said, because she thinks I'm messy. Mom said that she had too, but that it'll be a test for me. A test of what? Asked Davy. Neatness mostly, Maryellen said, and being careful of what I do. Davy grinned. Or what you don't do, he said. Just don't make a mess. Right, said Maryellen, cheered up by Davy as usual. That'll be easy. So that is the end of chapter 1 in Maryellen's first book, the one and only. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit that little bell for post notifications so you guys find out when we post more stuff about Maryellen. So thanks for watching. See you soon.